Hello, greetings and salutations. This is the Real Agent P, and I'm coming at you today enjoying some Sencha green tea with honey. And today, my guest is a commentator, a streamer, and a cosplayer. She goes by Jaidlyn. And how you doing today, Jaidlyn?
I'm doing fabulously. Just enjoying some peach lemon herbal tea because it's a little late on the East Coast, so don't want any caffeine.
No, I got you. I love the cup. Meowgical. It's great.
Meowgical. Yeah, it's my new favorite mug. I like it because it's huge and holds like 2 standard cups of coffee.
Right? Sometimes you need that just to get going in the morning.
Mm-hmm. But, definitely.
No, that's fantastic. All right, so as you know, because I know that you've been watching some of the interviews, I like to start off with the super deep, in-depth, hard-hitting questions. So what's your favorite color?
Easy. Purple. Done.
Purple? Nice.
Yeah. I like you said, the hard-hitting question, so I was prepared for that one, but if you go to any of my social media, you're like, that girl likes a lot of purple. And although you can't see it really well right now because my camera filters out some of the warm light, my hair is actually purple, not just ultraviolet. So my hair is purple, stream's purple, as much as I can get my hands on.
I know the purple gang is out there, and they are, you know, I've had a few of you on there. You know, you share that with Rooflemonger and my buddy Chicken Cindy's. You know, they're all part of the purple gang. So anything that they can get purple, they will purplefy in their life. So the next big question we got for you is, what is your favorite food?
Ooh, see, that's really hard because I like to eat a lot. And I've been thinking about this recently because it came up in a conversation. It's like, what's your favorite food? And I was like, I don't know. I think really, though, if I had to pick, it'd be sushi.
Okay.
I love sushi. In particular, any eel rolls or tuna rolls, those are my jam. Nice.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of sushi. Any of the sushi that has like seaweed in it, because I can't do the flavor of seaweed. It tastes like rotten fish to me. It's just I don't like it. But I love sashimi, like some fresh like tuna, fresh salmon, just a little bit of rice, a little bit of wasabi. Oh, it's so good.
It is so good. We're really fortunate where I live. We're a UPS hub, but we're the flight hub. So we get fresh fish flown in every day, even though we're landlocked. So like our sushi restaurants are A+.
Nice. That is a nice little touch right there. Because I know, like, I'm in the middle of Illinois, so finding any fresh sushi around here is terrible. Like, it's so hard to find. Yeah. But I was up in Chicago, actually. It was for my honeymoon. God, how long have we been married? Like 6 years now? Almost 7. And we were at the Oyster House of Chicago, and they had a fresh, like mahi tuna salsa that was all like raw mahi with pineapple, onions, peppers, just all mixed together in a martini glass. And talk about some good fish.
Well, now I know what I'm getting the next time I go to Frosty or Combo Breaker.
Right?
Jeez.
Yeah, no, it's real close to like McCormick Center or McCormick Place. So
gotcha.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, so it's like we walked there from McCormick Place because at that time my sister was living up in Chicago. She's like, hey, we got friends here and we're out eating and come eat dinner with us. And I'm like, oh, okay, sure, why not? And there was like 10 of us there. We were all just sharing. It was just a great experience. Like, I highly recommend the Oyster House of Chicago. I think that's its name. I could be completely wrong on its name, but yeah.
We'll Google it. It's fine.
Yeah. See, that's what the mini computers that fit in our hands are for, right?
Right. I always say, quick, consult the internet.
All right. So, favorite food, sushi. What is one food that you would rather die than eat? And I'm talking like a normal food.
This actually came up today. Goat cheese. I cannot stand goat cheese. I love cheese. Like, I think it's amazing, and I eat cheese a lot, considering I'm actually lactose intolerant, but most cheese doesn't have lactose. But goat cheese, I really think it tastes like an old musty barn smells. And like they're like, we have this fabulous burger, and it comes with goat cheese, and you take a bite and you're like, well, now everything sucks. So goat cheese is my answer for that. We had a couple friends and I had a long debate over it, because there was a burger with goat cheese at a place we went for lunch today, and everyone was like, it's so great, you want to try it? I was like, no, I do not.
Oh, that's actually a new one. I've never heard goat cheese, like specifically goat cheese. No, I know, like, I love like mozzarella, provolone, Gruyere, that kind of stuff, but I absolutely hate yellow cheeses, like cheddar, American.
American is a waste of cheese.
Yes, it is.
It is a waste of cheese.
Yeah.
And honestly, yellow cheddar is so far inferior to the white cheddar, in my opinion.
Yeah. See, I like Irish cheddar, like a good
Irish
white,
cheddar's so
like,
good.
Dubliner or something like that. But, you know, like just regular, what most Americans consider like cheddar and cheese.
No.
Nope. No bueno. No bueno.
No. it's no good. It's just American cheese is a plasticky waste of space, and it makes me sad.
Yeah. And people ruin perfectly good burgers by putting it on top of them. I'm like,
agreed.
Yeah, get like pepper jack or, you know, provolone or, you know, something like that. Like
anything.
Yeah, right? Like my burger of choice is like a blackened burger with some jalapenos, bacon, pepper jack cheese, a little bit of barbecue sauce. Just love it.
That sounds amazing, and I just ate, and now I'm like, yeah, that sounds really good.
Well, next time you need to try it. Just try making a burger like that, and you'll never want to go back to anything else. Trust me. Like just a little spicy, sweet, bacony. Nah, I just ate. Now I'm hungry again. Dang it.
Dang.
All right. So getting into your content that you make, you know, your streaming, all that kind of stuff. What got you into starting that? And like, what got you into commentating and all that good junk?
Well, let's actually start with the commentary, because I think, well, I know that that's what led to the streaming. So commentary back in 2018. There we go. That was when my husband and I live 5 hours south of Chicago, and we were discussing in early mid-January about going to a fighting game tournament. We'd never been, and there was one in Indianapolis, and we're like, we should go. And then we thought about it and like, well, if we're gonna go, we should go to Frosty Faustings, which was that coming weekend. And this was before like you had to set your watches and synchronize time to get your hotel and everything. And somehow we managed to get a hotel room like that week, drove up to Frosty, had no idea what to expect. And we've been watching fighting games for a decade at that point. And I really wanted to meet James Chen. I knew he was going to be there, and I was like, I have to meet James Chen. And I did. We had a great discussion, and I've always really admired commentators. And so he actually found us later on that Sunday, or on that Saturday, and which is the last day, and was talking to us about like, oh, you should come back, go to Combo Breaker, blah blah blah. And I was like, okay. We got back and we registered for Combo Breaker. And so at Combo Breaker, I was like, yeah, I think I want to try commentary. And James was like, you should do it. Just try. And I was like, well, if James Chen said I should try, then I'll try. And it feels like a really natural fit for me. In pre-COVID life, my day job, in addition to I have a private voice piano studio, is I was an actor. So I was out in the public and doing these things and talking. So it was like a really good fit for keeping those skills up. And then COVID hit, and then I had no acting job. So, which is why I started streaming, to keep the commentary skills up, because speaking to a camera is very different than speaking to an audience, because you don't have that same energy. And if you're in certain like commentary situations, like in a live venue, sometimes you don't even see the people. Like at Frosty Faustings, you're behind screens, so you can hardly hear, so you have to create the hype. And doing that on stream, and doing that with, you know, my own community and talking to the camera has made that a lot easier for me.
What about your cosplay? Like, how did you get into doing the cosplay side of that?
Well, that's another side effect of being an actor. You're just like, ooh, I want to be this character. That sounds fun. I've always been really into Halloween. I blame my dad for that. Halloween's my favorite holiday. And I was just like, I was getting more and more involved with my Halloween costumes. And I was like, maybe I'll try cosplay and do a competition. Because the first competition I entered was a year we went to our first Frosty. And I learned so much and met so many cool people. I was like, I want to learn how to sew and foam craft. And it's an art that I can do with my hands. And it's really satisfying. And not just the competition part. I like that because there's a showmanship aspect to it. But getting to just sit down with my sewing machine or my Dremel or my printer or whatever and just like focus on the craft is so much fun.
Yeah, you and my wife would get along fantastically.
Yeah.
Like, she absolutely loves Halloween. Like, she's figured out our Halloween costumes for this year. She's already like working on next year's, and she probably already has a plan for the year after that, to be quite honest. So like, I think you
Halloween hype is real.
Oh yeah. No, and like every year around, like Halloween, she has to watch Nightmare Before Christmas. It's her favorite movie. So like, she just absolutely loves dressing up. The only cosplay like contest that she's done, she won as Harley Quinn, but she did a very like atypical Harley Quinn. We got a red and black corset for her. She's got a white like kind of pirate shirt almost that she puts under the corset, and then I actually made her a tutu out of tulle.
Fun.
I mean, a lot of knot tying.
Fun, but also frustrating.
Yeah, no, there was it was like one where you take like a piece of ribbon and you tie a knot on the tulle and you kind of let it stream down. That took so many hours of me tying those knots because she couldn't get like she's not as good with her hands as I am, so like she was like having trouble getting the knots tied and getting them to like look right and like hold right and everything. I'm like, oh, just let me do it. So I ended up.
And then you're like, what did I
tutu.
sign up for?
Oh no, I thought, I'm like, okay, cool, yeah, this will take like 3-4 hours at the no, it took like 16 or 20 hours of just sitting there and like tying the knot, cutting the tulle, tying the knots, cutting the tulle, tying the knots. But it looks really, really good. So I'm very happy.
That's what matters.
That is what matters. And like, we got her a baseball bat, and like it was a black bat, and we spray painted the red spiral around it. So yeah, I told her she gets one more tutu out of me, and that is it.
That is all.
So I think she's going to end up getting like a Jack Skellington one that we're gonna do like probably like big thick panels of black and then like a couple thin panels of white for like the stripes.
That's cute.
No, it's gonna look really cool, but she gets one more and that's it.
That's all. Yeah. I've been trying to think of my next, like, what character I want to do for the next one, which will be for CEO in December. And I was talking about it with my best friend, and she was like, what about this character? And what about this character? And my nemesis is the box pleated skirt. So the pleats don't go on top of each other. They face like this. And the last two I've done have had that stinking box pleat. And I was like, if I have another pleated skirt, it is too soon. And all of the characters that my best friend was naming were pleated skirts. I was like, we're not doing it.
Nope. They're out. They're done.
They're out. I know. And so I'm like, maybe I'll do a character who's wearing pants. That sounds really fun. Let's do pants.
There you go. You could always do like Vice from King of Fighters. That'd be a fun one.
That's been suggested before.
She wears pants too. Be easy.
She does wear pants.
So out of the people that you've cosplayed, who has been your favorite to do so far?
Oh, that's so hard. Because the characters that I've cosplayed, most of them are characters that I've played in fighting games. So I think I've had the most fun when I was Heart Aino. Her outfit's the same in Cross Tag, which is what I base mine off of, and then Arcana, Heart, Love, Max, 6 stars, all the exclamation points. But it was just fun to be her because she's kind of a dingus, and so it was fun just getting to like be all bouncy and just silly. But I feel like I have the most confidence and the most just like character. I don't know, like, it's not being arrogant, but it just feels like really good to be them as Eltnum.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's because I sunk so much time into making that, because I was determined to do everything for her. And so, like, I hand dyed the wig and did painted on lowlights and wig styling, and she has a beret, a shirt, a vest, a jacket, that silly box pleat, and then like I 3D printed buttons for her shoes, and then I have a her whip it lights up blue, so I made an LED whip out of like sink plumbing and LED lights and all this stuff, and there was like me throwing fishing line through it and all this stuff, so there was a lot of like love that went into it. And then the first time I wore the whole thing, I was like, I feel like I am this character.
Nice.
And it just makes you feel so confident.
Do you feel like you put a lot of your acting into the character whenever you're cosplaying as them then?
I do. And it's so fun to get to just be somebody else for a little while. And I definitely think that stems from the acting, when you get to just be a character. And it's something that the cosplay judges have commented on. They're like, you are really good at becoming the character, and it definitely plays to your strengths while you're competing. So I just keep doing it because it's really fun.
Going back to your commentating just a little bit, what
Sure.
has been your favorite thing that you've commentated? Like, what's the one like big moment that you've commentated that just really has stuck with you?
Oh dear, that's a hard one. That's also a hard one. Because when I feel like with commentary, I have to focus really hard on what's going on screen, and then making sure I'm also listening to my co-commentator so that we have a good flow and things like that. So sometimes things just fly by really quickly, and then I'm like, wait, how long has it been? But I think the moment that stuck out to me the most was last year, when Bojack and I were commentating what was then Anime Evo, it's now Vortex Gallery, when we were doing the weekend of tag, and total that weekend we commentated 12 hours together, which was really long. But by the end of the second day of West Coast, like, chat was going crazy, and our Matcherino like had all these people competing donations in each other, and there was just so much hype all together. And I mean, to be perfectly honest, we were like loopy because we're commentating West Coast matches, and both he and I are East Coast time zone. And so it was late, and we have all this money coming in, and we just had the best time. And it's probably one of my favorite things I've ever done.
Nice. Nice. So out of, I'm sure you've commentated with a lot of other, people. So who would you say are like your top 3 people that you've commentated with?
Top 3 people I've commentated with. I think really I have to go with my 3 homies, Raph TX, Ebonic Plague, and Bojack.
Okay.
The 3 of them all have extensive commentary knowledge. They bring so much to the table with commentary in terms of game knowledge and lore. You ask Ebonic Plague anything about like the Blaze Blue lore, and he can tell it to you, which is hard because Blaze Blue's insane. And it's easy to work with the 3 of them, and I feel like we each bring something as part of a balance to each other. So it just makes it really fun to work with the 3 of them. And as I've gotten to know them better over the course of the past couple of years, it gets easier every time because now like we're friends. So it's really cool.
Nice. Yeah, I can imagine like just working with someone a lot. I know like just in a normal, typical like work environment, if you work with someone a lot, you tend to get to know their habits and just their mannerisms, and you get to where you're like, okay, well, I know you're gonna do A, B, and C, so I'll just go ahead and start teeing up for D, and then once you get done with C, I can just go right on with it. So like, yeah, I can imagine just having that like long-term working relationship is just, especially in commentation, makes everything so much, easier to just kind of throw out.
I'm very, very fortunate that I've gotten to work with a whole lot of great commentators. So, and I definitely learned something from each of them. So picking 3 was hard, but I just have been in this short little time, because I really didn't start commentating till the beginning of 2019. It was April. To have done as many events as I have in this time and worked with as many ridiculously awesome people as I have has been quite a journey.
So if you have any advice or any tips or anything for anybody that's wanting to get into commentating and just, not sure how to start and how to get into it, what's your one big tip to just get in there?
If you have a local scene and they have streaming capability, commentate your locals, because 9 times out of 10 there's nobody there and it's just an empty Twitch stream, just like people playing matches. And that's actually how I got started too, is one of my fabulous TOs for our local scene just shouted across the room, "Jaidlyn, come commentate." I was like, "I don't know what I'm doing." And he's like, "I don't care, we need somebody to talk." And I went, "Okay." And that's how I started. And I just really liked it. And I ended up working with a fabulous commentator. He's done a lot of Marvel 3 commentary and some Infinite commentary, also really good Marvel player, Airborne as Fly. He was my partner, and I was like, oh my gosh, this guy really knows what he's doing. And now we're like really good friends. So that was cool. But start local, because nobody starts big. Because when you apply to these things, you have to say, what have you done? What's your experience? Do you have a commentary reel? If you don't have a reel, link some, footage, because nobody wants to take a huge risk. And if there's no video footage of you, that's pretty risky. So if you don't have the opportunity to do locals, I highly, highly recommend trying to get in touch with one of these online events. There are so many smaller weekly online events who are always looking for people. And if you're like West Coast and say for example Guzman Gaming, who runs a really great tag tournament, he might be looking for commentators because somebody might not be available that week. That's your chance. Just do it, just try. Start small and work up from there.
Yeah, I know that also goes to the point of support your locals, because
support your locals.
Like, locals are so important. Locals are so fun. I miss my locals with the CIFGC. I really miss them. I'm just sitting here like waiting for them to come back, because I miss them. I want to see my homies again. And like whenever I first walked in, I didn't know anybody, and now it's like I'm chatting with Arneezy on like Twitter. We're like going back and forth. I've had like Finchicus on the channel a few times, so like people that I've just met in person like 2 or 3 times, and now like just become part of my life, and I'm just ready to go back there and throw down some games and bring some Indian food with me, because I told Arneezy next time they have locals, I'm gonna bring me some Indian food with me. So,
nice.
Yeah, so I'm gonna be that guy that feeds everybody.
Yay! Yeah, we just had our first local. I have to think about this. It's about 2 weeks ago, next Saturday. So yeah, about 2 weeks. And I used to brag about our locals all the time during lockdown, because I was like, man, we had such a vibrant local scene. We had 70 some odd people at our last local, and this was just for fighting games. We have so many people who play Smash here. We have a separate tournament for them. We had 125 people register for our locals, and people were like flying in from Philadelphia to come play. We were like, yo, it's just locals, but they were like, we get to play in person.
Yeah, it's
one of our
big
TOs
deal
does
now.
one of our TOs makes he smokes 10-hour smoked pulled pork for everybody. He's the best.
He does sound like a really good TO. I mean, anybody who's gonna
great.
like slow smoke pulled pork, like I might have to fly out there for a local just to get some pulled pork.
It's not that far.
Hey, there we go. All right, so you've obviously played a lot of fighting games, to get the knowledge. What would you say is your favorite fighting game?
BlazBlue Cross Tag Battle. It's the game that got me. Honestly, it's the game that got me to practice how to play fighting games. I had tried a lot of different ones, a lot of different ones, and Cross Tag came out. I was like, this is fun, and I just kept playing it, and that's what got me into commentary, and that's what got me into cosplay. And I feel like without that game, I wouldn't be anywhere near where I am today in terms of like the scene and playing new things, and just trying all sorts of different stuff, and then meeting all of the amazing people that playing Cross Tag has brought me to. Now,
I did see on your stream schedule for last month you had Final Fantasy X in there. I will say, like, we did a playthrough of that on my channel. Me and the lovely wife did. It was her first time ever beating it, so she was real excited about it. She had played it a couple times, but just never, like, she would get stuck and get frustrated.
Me? Because that sounds like exactly what I've been doing. I got to the end, the second to the last boss, my very first playthrough, and I stopped because I couldn't do it because I hadn't farmed enough, honestly, because I didn't really understand how RPGs worked then. To be fair, this was 17 years ago, the first time I tried it. And then it was like, it's kind of been a running joke between me and my husband, is like, I think he's bought me more copies of that game than like any other game, because he's like, you have to finish it. So this is the year I started fresh, and I'm gonna finish it on stream. So, and I do know what happens, but I've never actually seen it. So, like, seeing it, well, I think it'll be really monumental. Yeah. So my new schedule just came out today, or I put it out today, and I'm playing Final Fantasy 3 times this next month. So I'm like, come on, I gotta go.
Oh yeah, have a box of tissues next to you.
I'm ready.
Like, yeah, even if you know what happens, it still kind of hits you there.
I don't think I'm prepared.
No, you're never prepared. It's like the end of Armageddon when Bruce Willis dies. You're even though you know what happens, you're just never prepared for it. And
nope.
So sad. So, out of the non-fighting games that you play, what would you say is your favorite?
Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past. It's the first game that I really played. My across the street neighbor, who is my closest friend growing up, got a Super Nintendo in the early 90s, and she had two games. It was Link to the Past and Super Mario World. And I don't know, like, Super Mario World didn't capture my attention as much, and she started playing Link to the Past, and I was like, what is this? This is so cool. And then so I started playing it, like, at her house. We'd have snow days, and I'd go over to her house and be like, okay, we're gonna play. And it just captured my attention like nothing else really had, and I've played it so many times, and it just really got me into the genre, and it opened me up to, like, the world of video game music as well. I mean, I know it's not robust or anything for the time period, but everybody does da 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 da, and you get that stuck in your head. And actually, you can't see it, but both of my backgrounds are Legend of Zelda backgrounds. They're both different. It's my fave.
Like, you're talking about that, and I automatically had like the dun 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 running through my head, like, as you were talking.
It's so good. Like, to be able to compose such good themes that could get stuck in your head. The melodies were so iconic, and you had 8 little things to work with. You're like, oh, maybe 16. That's all you get. Those are all the bits we have for you today.
Yeah, something simple but just as memorable and iconic as that is. It's very hard to pull off, but like that game just has, like, just music like that series just has some of the best music, like just in video game history, and it's fantastic. Which is a nice little segue to my next question, which deals with music. So what would you say is your favorite like genre of music to listen to?
Favorite genre? See, all my degrees are in music, so this is a fantastically loaded question. Really, I think my favorite genre is... I don't want to like put a box into just be like just orchestral video game soundtracks, but definitely video game soundtracks are my favorite. I think there are some really cool things to be found in both like the fully digitally produced ones, but also like the fully orchestrated, and then the ones that do put those two things together where you have your digital aspects and you have your fully orchestrated ones, and then you have your choral parts that come with them. I have so many OSTs. It is ridiculous. And then I have remixes of OSTs, and I could just listen to them all day.
Yeah, no, like the song that was coming to my mind personally whenever you were talking about like soundtracks and orchestrals and mixing is like One Winged Angel.
So good.
Like, yeah, like the original version from like Final Fantasy VII, that's, you know, MIDI and all that stuff. Very good song. And then whenever they did Advent Children and they like redid it with the guitars and everything, I'm like, it's like I burnt that onto a CD, and I was like the one kid that was rocking out like with my windows down, my radio blaring, and just Sephiroth coming out of my freaking speakers.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Oh yeah. So, do you have a favorite soundtrack then?
Well, I do have a favorite soundtrack, but it's actually not from a video game, but it is by a composer who does a lot of video game stuff. So it's by Harry Gregson Williams, who's really famously known for composing the Metal Gear Solid series. But my favorite, it's Chicken Run, the movie Chicken Run, the little claymation one. It's really clever, and I think Gregson Williams is a very clever composer, and the way that he introduces themes and then like layers them is very interesting. And anytime you can get a symphony orchestra to play kazoo on your soundtrack is just A+ in my opinion.
Yes, no, that's always like the kazoo tracks are always the best tracks. Like, speaking of kazoo, there was a TikTok that I saw the other day that this band director, like there's one kid, and I think his percussion like area, pit, whatever you want to call it, he'll just whip out a kazoo randomly and start like playing along with the kazoo. And like the director started making like TikToks of it, of him just like, he just hit record on it because he knew this kid was going to do something, and they'd be playing like I don't know, like Final Countdown, and just like you get to the part where it's like da da da, and you just hear the kazoo in the back. It's hilarious, like
amazing.
Yeah,
so just stupid like that.
Yeah, it's like, it's fantastic. But again, you're segueing me so fantastically into my next questions. So
brilliant.
You know, you were talking about Chicken Run. What is your favorite genre of movie to watch?
Favorite genre of movie? I don't watch a lot of movies, honestly. I used to. Now I just play a lot of video games. But I think, like, I really enjoy action movies a lot. They're just fun and they keep my attention. And now that I'm into more of like costume design and stuff from cosplay and things like that, I get really into like, oh, how did they make this? Or how did they do this? Or look at the lighting, or look at the camera work that they did, and just get really into that aspect of it. And maybe like some dramas, not anything suspenseful or scary. I don't do scary. I curl up in a ball and cry.
See, that's like, horror is probably my favorite thing to watch. Like, I've got this whole section on my bookcase. It's basically between those two right there. But I've got like all the Saw movies. I've got like Event Horizon, all the Nightmare on Elm Streets. Like, I absolutely love horror movies. I just think they're fun, but you know, not everybody is as enlightened as me, I guess. So.
Like, I can do like blood, guts, gore. That's all fine. It's the psychological aspect that really gets me. You had mentioned your wife's favorite movie is Nightmare Before Christmas. I remember when that came out, and I cried all the way through it because I was so scared. And I wasn't particularly, I mean, I wasn't old, but I wasn't young either. And I was just like, that's so scary.
Yeah, no, my wife was just like, whenever she first saw that movie, I don't know how old she was. It was probably when it first came out. So 10-ish, probably. And I know that she has told me that she watched it and was just like, the whole time just giddy.
That's amazing.
Yeah, just loving Jack Skellington and Sally and everything, just giddy about it. And that's how she fell in love with it. So actually she might have been like 5. Yeah, so
yeah, I like it now that I'm older. But I'm such a scaredy pants for all of that kind of thing. Like, I won't even play remotely scary things on my stream because it just I get so I think the closest to scariest thing I've ever played is Left 4 Dead 2, and that's not that scary.
Yeah. So Dead by Daylight and all that kind of stuff, just no goes for you, no buenos.
No, yeah, somebody in my friend group was like, we should play Phasmophobia. I'm like, y'all should play Phasmophobia. Bye! I can watch Phasmophobia now. But one time when like the little phantom popped up, I didn't know that they popped up. I'd watched this game for like hours. And then she just was there in the corner and I was uncomfortable.
Oh, that's funny. So I know you said you don't watch a lot of movies, but do you have a favorite movie?
This is bringing out the music geek in me, but Fantasia, like the early 1930s version. Just a lot about that movie was really, I mean, there's a lot of really neat things that if you ever look into like sound design and things like that, how it developed the modern movie theater through that particular film. But just the art is beautiful, and the way that they tell totally different stories through those iconic pieces, especially when they have an unbelievable version of Schubert's Ave Maria at the end, which I would love to be able to do that one at some point, because it's just brilliantly written. I have the soundtrack to that too. Shocking, I know. But I loved it. I had the VHS when I was little. It went out of the Disney Vault right when I started teaching public school. I was teaching elementary school, so I bought it, and then we would watch pieces of it all throughout the year. Never got tired of it.
Oh yeah, no, like yeah, that was one of the videos that we had whenever we were growing up younger. Definitely got me into music a lot more than I think I would be otherwise. Night on Bald Mountain, that whole sequence is just
good.
So fantastic. Like that, I was just sitting there, like I was kind of bored through some of it, obviously like the Sorcerer's Apprentice. I was like, oh, this is awesome, with Mickey Mouse and all that kind of crap, and the dinosaur section and the dancing hippos and all that was really cool too. But like the Night on, that was my favorite part, was Night on Bald Mountain. I just would like want to just rewatch that just because it was so cool. Like
it was cool. And like, in just considering the time that it was animated, how many hand-drawn cells went into that whole thing is insane.
Oh yeah, definitely. All right, so one of my closing questions I like to do is about like secret talents. So do you have any kind of like secret talent that people might not know about?
This is always such a fun question, because in this outlet, a lot of people don't know that I am a classically trained opera singer. Like that's what I have my master's degree in.
Nice.
So that's always really fun, because in my day job, that's what everybody knows me for. But I think if I was going to combine both of those things, my secret talent is I used to be a cake decorating instructor, and I taught people how to decorate cakes.
Nice.
And I have some really, really cool cakes that I've done. I did this really neat tiered Dr. Seuss cake with a matching smash cake for a kid's first birthday party, and like all the sugar spun flowers and the multi-tiers and the buttercream and the font. Like I did that. It was really cool. And then sometimes I'm like, wow, that was a time in my life. Huh.
Yeah. No, I could actually relate to both ends of that too, because my sister, I've got two older sisters. The middle one, she went to college for vocal performance with an emphasis on broken operatic pieces. So like, yeah,
we would be best friends.
Yeah, exactly. Like she's got an amazing voice. Like she sang at our wedding. She sang at my sister's first wedding. It's just, she's so good. And now she's like working at Walgreens or something. But yeah, that's how it goes sometimes.
Starving artists.
Yeah, and then like for my oldest sister's second wedding, like I did the cake for her because I love baking. I do mainly like cupcakes and stuff because they're just easier. I'll just admit they're easier to do.
But that's so cute when you can complement a cake with them, and then you can airbrush the top and do different sprinkles for texture. No, I feel you on that.
Oh yeah. But she's like, will you do my wedding cake? And I'm like, well, I don't really want to say no, so I guess yes. And like I found this like edible lace that you can like make, and you have like, there's like a silicone mold, and you press this into those molds, and you pop out this like edible lace, because she wanted lace around her cake. I'm like, well, I can't, I'm not that good. So like I found that, and I'm like, easy fix. So yeah, I did like a fondant, and with the edible lace, it was like a vanilla cake with a raspberry curd in between the layers. Yeah, it wasn't like super pretty, but it was still like very, like everybody was like, that's a really good looking cake, and I'm like, I do what I can. So,
and you're like, thanks, I did my best.
Yeah. So, and the one thing that I do remember that stuck out was like, she tried the frosting, and she's like, is there any way we can make it not as sweet? And I'm like, it's butter and powdered sugar. What do you want me to do?
Yeah, it kind of is what it is.
Yeah. Well, like if I make it less sweet, it's just gonna taste like butter. And that's not gonna.
That's what you want.
Yeah, I'm like, but it's not gonna set up right, and I'm not gonna be able to like do any kind of piping with it. So, like,
and it has less sugar. No, it will have no structure.
Yeah. So she just had to deal with it, and she was fine with it. Everybody loved it. Good. Everybody was very happy with it. All right, but Jaidlyn, I want to thank you for coming on here. This has been fantastic. Really good.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, and if you guys don't know where to find this awesome lady, why don't you tell them where they can find you?
Sure. I am at Jaidlyn Gaming, all one word, JAIDLYN GAMING. On Twitch, on Twitter, on YouTube, and now on Instagram. I used to have a different Instagram handle because it was just for cosplay, and now I'm sort of incorporating everything. But if you go to either my Twitch or my Twitter, all the links for all the different social medias are there. Most often, I am on Twitter and Twitch. I'm just now starting to get into video production stuff and editing. So slowly but surely, the YouTube will be populated. And cosplay, if you want to find all of the sewing and the crafting and the things, that's where you go on Instagram. But that's where you can find me. And I am on Twitch 3 days a week, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday, starting at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Nice. All right, well, guys, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, go down there, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, ding that bell for notifications, and leave a comment down below. Tell me who you'd like to see on here next, and I will do my best to get them on here. But anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching. But most importantly, have a great day.
Woo-hoo!